Hey guys, and welcome back to a different type of video. This is a type of video that I've wanted to do since the inception of this channel. And that's one where I can sit back and talk about my video game memories, and my nostalgia for various games. It's basically a more candid type of video where I can come out and just talk about whatever I want to that is gaming related. And I'll make it no secret that the Happy Collins the Gamer is a huge inspiration on this type of video. And I will wear my inspiration on my sleeve. And much like Johnny, I consider myself a very nostalgic person. I can pinpoint various points in my life based on what video game I was playing at the time. I have a handful of memories strictly based off of video games. And I figured this was just the perfect place to share all of that kind of stuff. So anyways, what better place to start than my gaming origins? And I don't want to sound like a snowflake or anything like that, but I am a bit on the younger side in terms of retro gaming, as I'm only 23 as of May 2020 when I'm shooting this video. But it just, as circumstance would have it, I grew up playing retro games. And I figured I'd talk about that. So my gaming origins start all the way back in the year 2000 or 2001 when my parents and I moved into the house I'm currently visiting right now. And it was a rather new neighborhood at the time, so my parents kind of go out and meet all the other parents in the neighborhood, and I end up making friends with this one kid named Suri, who's actually still one of my best friends and gaming buddies to this day. And I remember this one day in particular where it's me, my dad, Suri, and his dad, and we're all in a car going somewhere, and he has this thing called a Game Boy, and this game called Pokemon. And I'm kind of looking over, watching him play it, and it's interesting. He's explaining the game to me, and not only am I fascinated, but so is my dad. And I remember getting to play it for a little bit, giving it back to Suri, and thinking, wow, this is really cool. And a couple days later, my dad goes, we should go get a Game Boy and that Pokemon Yellow game. It seems really cool. And in my memory, I remember us going to a Home Depot of all places to get the Game Boy and Pokemon Yellow. Now, I could be wrong, but if you can confirm or deny whether or not Home Depot ever sold electronics, please let me know. Because if it wasn't Home Depot, then it was probably like a Circuit City or a Toys R Us where we went and got it. But for some reason in my mind, I remember it being Home Depot. But anyways, I remember getting Pokemon Yellow, and me and my dad kind of trading off, playing different parts of the game, and experiencing kind of my first taste of video games. But there was another event that really sparked my love for video games. And that event was when I found my dad's NES. So here in Virginia, when it's, kind of icy or it snows, or it rains in the winter, one of two things happens. You either, one, get a half day, or two, school is canceled. And on this particular morning, I remember being on a 2-hour delay, so that just means you go in 2 hours late. And on mornings like this, Suri would end up coming over to my house because both of his parents worked. So my mom would babysit us until it was time to go. And being the curious kids we were, we started digging through this closet that is actually over to the right of me, and it's full of my dad's old stuff. And we stumbled upon this cardboard box, and when we open it, it might as well have been the Holy Grail inside, because we stumbled upon this wonderful gray plastic box right here, and Suri takes a look at it, and notices that it says Nintendo on the front, and realizes that, oh my god, these are video games, and these carts, these are the games. So we somehow figure out how to hook it up, and I can remember the first handful of games we put in, two of which were the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. Go figure, we'd picked two of the hardest games on the system. And I remember playing the first level of Turtles and getting to this certain jump where we just couldn't get up onto this ledge because we didn't know we had to hold down the button for them to jump higher. So then we ended up giving up playing that game and went over to Dracula's Curse and probably royally got our asses kicked because that game is super hard. Another game I remember putting in is Amagon, because how could you not be fooled as a kid to put in Amagon when the cover's got fucking dinosaurs on it, a guy with a machine gun, a super buff dude, and UFOs? I mean, like, this is every kid's dream right here. And of course, you gotta put in stuff like Super Mario Brothers. It's like a rite of passage. And we played just a handful of games before having to go to school. And I don't know how I made it through that day of school, because the only thing I can remember is as soon as we got back, we started playing video games again. And that was a real pivotal moment in gaming for me, because that was really like, oh wow, this is fun. I gotta show all of my friends like these games. This is so cool. And for a little while after that, these handful of NES games were really the only games I had to play. I mean, I ended up inheriting a PS1 from a neighbor when the PS2 came out, and I ended up getting a GameCube when that came out, and I played a lot of that. And of course, I got a Game Boy Advance and Pokemon Gold, Silver, Crystal, Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire, and played a ton of those. And then even ended up getting a Wii when the Wii came out. But up until that point, gaming was really... I didn't really think of myself as a gamer, because it's not like I was playing games all the time instead of playing with friends, because I ended up playing with, outside with friends a whole lot of the time. Games were just kind of something to pass the time when I didn't have any friends around. So yeah, being a gamer wasn't really like something I thought of myself as until a couple years down the line, when I discovered a little YouTube channel that not a lot of people remember. It's called like The Angry Nintendo Nerd or something like that. So, like many others, James was a huge inspiration on myself and my channel. But a bigger thing happened when I discovered his channel. It was a real eye-opening experience, because at that moment I realized that it wasn't just me who was playing these games. There were other people that played these games and knew them. And at that point, it opened a whole nother door to me, because, like I said, I only had these handful of NES games that my dad owned at my disposal. And this was like opening a door to a whole new galaxy, because I was discovering all these other games that I had never heard of, that I never knew existed. And then I found emulation and was able to play all these other games. And it really was just this crazy, eye-opening experience for me. And this was like 5th grade, going into 6th grade, and probably being like 11, 12 at the time. And then turning 13, that's kind of your like formidable years when you start to really develop your interest in certain hobbies. And for me, that was gaming and music. And that to me was when I really became a retro gamer. That was what really interested me at the time. And like I said, I found emulation and started playing SNES games and Genesis games, and it really just kind of snowballed from there on out into me being a full-on retro gamer. Anyways, that's where I'm going to leave this story for today. There are definitely a couple other points that I want to go back and talk about more in detail later, but those are stories for another day. I feel like this has been a pretty good intro to my gaming origins. Let me know down in the comments below if you like this video. Tell me your gaming origins, and maybe even leave me some suggestions for future videos like this. Anyways, see you next time.